Shoot him, Julius. Shoot him. Julius.
So now I want to introduce you to a really good friend of mine, the guy behind the Maharaja of Mayhem video, Julius Fortuna from Las Vegas, Nevada. Bueno, you're there.
I'm here. Thanks, Dave.
Jules, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful.
Well, thanks first of all for being on the show, and you know, I've been really looking forward to this. You know, you and I have kind of broken this down a few times. A buffalo encounter you had, but now we're going to get to break it down for everybody. But we share a real common passion for the dark continent, and in particular with all the different species that Africa can throw at you and you'll enjoy hunting.
It's my passion. If I did nothing else for the rest of my career, the rest of my hunting life, it would be buffalo hunting, no question.
You know, what is it about the hunt for Cape buffalo that, you know, attracts you? I know some of the things for me. What is it to you when you get geared up for a buffalo hunt? What gets you excited?
I think their size and the traditions around buffalo and certainly the fear factors and doing that in a way that is unique. There's lots of them, so there's lots of different environments for them to live in. I've been blessed to hunt in 5 different countries inside of Africa, and they're all together different, but all exciting. Every single one of them, whether it was the wilds of the slough in Tanzania, with Mark Sullivan in 2006, or it's, hunting in South Africa on big concessions. You get a chance to enjoy this animal, the herd characteristics, especially the Dugga boys. I'm just passionate about getting on the lone track of a big old bull, or maybe 2 or 3 bulls together. And that in my mind is what I think of as old Africa, and I'm constantly looking for the next adventure.
This week's Trijicon Safari Breakdown finds us in Mozambique with a really good buddy of mine, outdoor rider Phil Massaro. Now trust me, Phil is a Cape buffalo junkie. He really loves to hunt these things like I do, and they had been tracking a herd, but they been on them all morning long. The time they caught them, they had just got into this Miambo cover. It's really thick in there. Now they knew there was a good bull in this herd. They'd seen him earlier, so standing up's not an option. You crawl in, stay low profile. But as PH has said, I see the bull, which in this case, the bull was laying down. But no matter, you've got to get into position in case he offers you a shooting opportunity. There's a cow standing and the bull's right behind her laying down. So at this time, it's just all you can do is be patient. And all you can do is hope that the wind doesn't betray you, because middle of the day, the wind can be really, really tricky. And sure enough, the buffalo gets to his feet.
Oh, he laid down. Hold on.
And decides to lay right back down. I've seen that happen before. Again, now you're praying the wind doesn't give you away. It's starting to swirl, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. But the PH did a good thing here. He pressed these buffalo immediately. He didn't wait for them. He pressed them, because a lot of times a bull will come back to see what spooked him, and that is precisely what happened here, giving Phil a great opportunity. Big bull, too. Gives him a barrel. Buffalo takes off, and very untypical of his clan, he kind of moved out into some open, and he was able to get another barrel into him right there, which was the right thing to do. So Phil's reloaded. They're approaching across this big opening. The bull has gone down in that little patch of cover right there, and he is locked on him. This bull is watching him. He's down, and he's facing him, and he's ready. And so is Phil.
Whatever you want to do.
So this bull is sitting there looking at him, and up to his feet he comes, gives him a barrel, gives him the next barrel, and down he goes. Now I want you to see this again in slow motion. This buffalo was going to charge 100%. He's facing them. He comes to his feet facing them. And that's what you do. You want to stop a buffalo charge, you hit them hard twice if you're shooting a 2-pack. Played perfectly in my opinion. And he immediately reloaded. And the results of that good shooting was a really nice Cape buffalo bull. Well done, Buana. No two hunts for buffalo are ever the same. Every one of them is going to have, some tracks are easier, some tracks are harder. Some buffalo get shot through the shoulder, go 100 yards and flip over. Some of them turn into a bullet sponge. You never ever know when you unzip the tent in the morning what that day is going to bring you, but it's especially true on a buffalo safari.
And I think for me, the excitement of how tough they can be, and putting yourself in that position to be able to make a determinant, it's him or it's you, is always exciting. But I never thought. I mean, I talked to so many hunters that have been there many times. I know, my friend Craig Boddington has been there, probably 100 times, and he had not been charged in over 100 buffalo hunts. So I thought it was rare opportunity, but I also think in the back of my mind, it's what gives me the excitement every single year to go chase those big bulls.
Well, the word probably on buffalo is potentially dangerous. Every buffalo, cow buffalo, every time you get a close contact, you can bump into one. That's really, what we're going to be talking about today is a buffalo charge, a nightmare buffalo charge that you were involved in. And charges, just like every hunt, there's no two that are ever exactly the same. But I tell you what, yours had a unique combination of circumstances and events. And it really, look, I've seen lots of buffalo charges, both that I've been involved in, that our guys have filmed, but also, friends that hunt buffalo to have a cameraman. This one, Julius, just really, it is it's one of the greatest examples of when people say buffalo can be dangerous, and you can die buffalo hunting. This is just a rock solid example of that. So I want to set this up. Now, take me to where we're at. You said to Limpopo up in South Africa. Now I want you to walk me through the hunting party.
Sure. So first, important is Van der Walt from Cheetah Safaris. Vanna and Carmen own fantastic hunting concessions in Limpopo area, and actually several concessions. And I was with four of my very, very dearest friends. Tony Perkins, him and I are SCI, we're on the board for SCI. John Brisky, I've hunted with for 30 years. Joel Blacksley and Dom Lapano. Dom, I've been my hunting partner for 40 years. And so we started, this hunt with buffalo for both for Dominic, and then John was gonna start to archery hunt for buffalo. So it all started, on the 26th of June of 2021, and we had a great couple of days. On day one, I tell people all the time, we must have had buffalo dung cologne on, because we were around both buffalo all the time, and we had a great situation where Dominic was able to crawl up to within 45 yards, and with my 416 Weatherby, he was able to make a great shot on the shoulder.
I'll tell you now which one. Just wait.
One right there.
Just wait.
Okay, now I see the one on the left.
The one on the left.
Turn his head to the right.
Yes. Reload. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. It's a good shot.
Front one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looked like a good shot.
He found them video.
You think so?
I really saw.
Yeah.
I can see the impact.
This gun doesn't even kick as big as a warbird.
Yeah.
Buffalo went 19 yards into a thick pile of Mopani, turned and died. And so we were, excited about his first buffalo. He was excited. And as we were in there taking pictures, another buffalo snorted and came into within 40 yards that the whole group of us had to back out.
What do we do? Back off?
Yeah, just back off, just back off. He's gonna come, he's gonna come.
He's coming. Let's back up.
Just back off, just back off.
Just leave it alone.
Just back off.
He'll run away on his own.
Just come slowly. Go back slowly.
Up.
I'll have to wait for that TLV to come.
There goes the light too. Damn. And they're both
Let's
back.
go.
Not one, it's both.
Watch the stick.
What's that? Right here. Hey, you want?
There he is.
Yeah, Phil, this is cool.
We were starting to take pictures, and we had to back out. And I thought, man, something about this trip is probably going to be rough. And that buffalo was again another big 40-yard buffalo. My buddy John said, "Hey, I'd really like to try to get that with my bow."
Close to 41.
Close to 41.
Mm.
But he goes way up.
He does go way up.
Yeah, but you can. This is
No, he's down. You like the way they get down.
keep your eye on the bull.
Oh, yeah.
Stay here with you guys backing me up.
That's all we got.
Not a good idea. Just stay here.
John,
What's-
here you go.
Totally possible.
Right behind the shoulder.
And John made an absolutely beautiful shot at about 45 yards. That buffalo ran off 22 yards and fell over dead. No issues. So we had two buffalo literally within 40 yards of one another. And,
Bird hunters would say you scored a brace of buffalo.
we scored a brace of buffalo. That's it. And it was beautiful. We took pictures, and it was the sun was going down, and literally Dominic had tears in his eyes. He said, "This is one of the coolest hunts I've ever been on." He said, "Now I know why you're so passionate about these buffalo."
And Julius,
So
that's a good example of generally what happens on a buffalo. You know, if you shoot them well, you know, buffalo 9 out of 10 times, he just wants to get away from you. I mean, he's been hurt and he wants to get into thick cover. They go in there. If the shot's fatal, I mean, the heart or brain runs out of oxygen, they bellow, they fall over, and you've got your bull. And that's how it can happen. But now we're about to talk about what happens that 1 in 100 times, and that's not how it goes down. And so now it's your turn behind the rifle. So you said they scored those two bulls on the first day. What day of the hunt did you run into your bull?
Day 3, June 28th.
Okay.
A day I'll never forget in my life. So yeah, June 28th, Vanner said, "Hey, we're going to drive to a different concession. There's 300-400 buffalo on this concession, and we're going to just take a break and just try a different spot." So that's how it started off. And when we got to the concession, this is a very large concession outside of Modi Moli, and what was interesting was the manager, the camp concession manager. Dave, he was very funny and jovial for the first 10-15 minutes as we were interacting, and then all of a sudden his face just turned somber, and he said to me, and he said to our team, "There's a group of 7 bulls in here, and they have literally, one of them has got a bad eye, and he has put 3 of the woodcutters up in trees over the last 6 months. That group is run by this one bull, and just keep an eye out for him." But just his look on his face, and I'll never forget. He said something interesting. He said to Vanner in Afrikaans, he said, "He's die wil self." And I didn't put two, but he said it multiple times. And so we get in the truck, and we start the driving and looking for tracks. And after about, an hour and a half driving, we saw a few buffalo, but we finally found the tracks of what looked like a nice herd of bulls. We didn't know it was the same group. We just saw that they were. But I got to tell you, Dave, when I got out of the truck, in my mind, I remember looking and thinking about that manager's face. I can't remember his name, but I remember his face. And he said that those words about die wil self. So I said to Vanner, what is Dave self? And he said, it's the devil himself. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to track here. And I opened the bolt and I went, oh, and I could look right down in the magazine well, and I only saw 2 rounds in there. And I'm shooting a custom 416 Weatherby. I have 750 rounds through this thing. It's custom by Justin Sipp in Utah. And he put an extra magazine. That's one thing, an extra round I had to have. And so I took out of my belt another 450 grain woodlay, put it into the chamber, and now I had 3 in the bottom, 1 in the top. Had I not done that, had that face of that Diveville self not ripped me, I don't think I'd be here, Dave. I really don't.
All right, well, let's get to it. So you're on the tracks. How long are you on the tracks before you make contact with that herd?
Yeah, I would say probably 45 minutes to an hour. And then, again, it got super thick. The Mopani, it was just, you were looking from one spot to another. And I just, at this point, we did not know what we were getting on, but we were looking for a hard-horn bull, something over 40 inches, a good, 9, 10, 11-year-old buffalo. Yeah. And at this point, what I remember, I looked at Vanner and I said, is this a mature bull? And he said, yeah, this is him. This is the big one. And I think the tracker was telling, Joe Tam was telling Vanner that, hey, this is a really good bull. We need to get it. And what I did was, when I came up to the sticks were there, but it's going to be 19 yards away. And I felt comfortable offhand. And I wanted to put it, just under the chin, low in the chest. And that's where my first shot, when it went off, it was clean shot in the chest. We actually found the bullet recovered. It went all the way through top of the aorta, liver, lungs, all the way through and in the intestines. At that point, I knew this is a dead buffalo.
Jules, here's what I want to do. Let's just show this in its entirety. You're about to take your first shot right here, and then we're going to go back and start breaking it down.
Just wait. Here you go.
Hey, Jules.
Shoot him, Julius. Shoot him. Julius.
Okay, now there is a lot that was going on there in a very short time. Now I want to break that down. Now we're going to do we've got some great post-mortem shots, a bullet performance, shot placement. Now, what was you said your PH was shooting? He had a 2-pipe. What caliber was he shooting?
Yeah, Vanner is an amazing shot with his 470 double rifle. He's I watched him ring the gong at 100 yards. He literally picked that up offhand and rang the gong, a 10-inch gong at 100 yards. I mean, that guy, his misses end up in the taxidermy studio. I mean, Vanner is a hell of a shot. And I'll tell you, I felt very comfortable with him. And what people don't realize was that we shot milliseconds apart. He shot right before I made that last shot, the 4th shot. And Vanner just missed the brain. He actually, it glanced off of his skull 2 inches from being dead at our feet, a Mark Sullivan dead at your feet thing. He just missed that shot. And he had to splice that shot between the cameraman and me.
Well, right now you're doing the shooting. So you've had your first shot. You get down low. There's a big tree right in front of you. And this buffalo, he probably sees you about now.
Right now.
And
Dominic shoots right now. Dominic just took a shot. He hit a branch right there, and then now he's coming around, full looking me right in the eye. And at this point, I'm talking to myself all the way through, Dave. I'm literally saying, if he comes around that tree, put it in his chest or put it in his brain. And what I said to myself was, I was Gandalf. I said, you shall not pass. And that's literally the goal was in my mind. And I knew when I shot the 3rd time, I knew I can bolt. I've shot 750 rounds through that gun. I can bolt in about 1.5 seconds. Actually, you guys told me how fast that shot was between the bolt. But when the bolt came down, I knew that I had to lift the barrel up. I was not going to be able to aim it. I wished I had my double. I was going to have to pull the barrel up and wait till it got to eye level and pull the trigger. And I'm talking to myself through this whole process. And so literally, as I'm saying up, 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 I'm in my mind, I'm saying I got to come up higher with the barrel. And when I thought I was right, I pulled the trigger, and you can see that cloud blast. You guys have a slow a picture of it. Cloud blast of gunpowder goes through the face, and then there's another cloud blast on the other side of it. And then at that point, when he went by me, he went right by the cameraman. And by the way, Hinko Myberg, this guy, I mean, he doesn't use a tripod because, you know, he stands him up on his brass ones. The guy's got courage like nobody's business. He dropped the camera down and he just followed that bull around, and literally the blood covered the side of the camera as he spun around to catch the entire action. And then the violent part of this reality safari episode was that he caught that the bull hit Dominic, and Dominic went straight up in the air.
Well, that's probably, let's go back and see that in slow motion, because that's very difficult to see. You know, there's a lot to take in there in about 3 seconds. And we're going to show poor Dominic, who now is just carrying a plains game rifle because he's looking for Sable. So there you go. The bull goes past you. Werner gets a broadside into him. And right there, we see Dominic's feet in the air and his head on the ground. And now Werner's going back to work as he comes through there.
Yeah, he sticks a 570 grain in his liver on that last shot as he goes over. And with Dominic, when he hit the ground, he felt the buffalo brush on him, and then he was basically unconscious, dazed, of course. And then he started to come to about maybe 3-4 seconds afterwards.
Well,
but what people don't, I'm sorry.
Well, poor Dominic, he's in the back, and and I'm sure that was the way y'all went in there, and you had told me earlier he already had his buffalo, so he had a plains game caliber, and he was looking for a big sable, and he's just kind of trailing around. But Dom, you kind of stay in the back where it's safe. Yeah, not so damn much, huh? I mean, he got center punched.
Yeah, and on the back story there, Dominic get a shot off. Actually, between my second and third shot, Dominic got a shot, but there was a branch in the way, and you can literally see the bullet hit the branch. So and then he put a clean round in there. But what he said was, as he was running, when he knew it passed me, and the camera, he saw Hanko's face coming around. He saw a tree, a big Mopani tree with roots, and he said the next thing he knows, that's all he remembers, is the roots being upside down. That's what he remembers.
Okay, I want to ask you a question now, because this is. I've been in these situations quite a few times. You've been in a few of them. I talked to professional hunters who've been in lots of them. I've been in some charges where they were fast, and when in my mind's eye, when I replayed them, they seemed even faster. I've been in some situations that were unfolding damn fast, but my mind slowed them down, and most of mine have been with a camera, but same thing. I've got my shot, and the hunter has his shot, but I'm trying to anticipate this bull is going to jig left here when he comes to this one bush. Now I've got to start going wide because he's going to be at 3 feet when he comes out. And how did that affect you? Was it hyper fast, or did you slow it down?
Oh, it was absolutely slowed down. You nailed it. And for me, once the buffalo turned and all the buffalo were leaving and going past, and he stopped, turned, and started looking for me, at that moment, literally, it was like, Dave, like a kaleidoscope. It's like, everything was just starting to click, 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 click. I mean, it was almost like a slow motion reel on a 16 millimeter. And I can tell you, all during that time, I had my conversations with myself, which I know sounds crazy, but I was literally saying, okay, if he comes on the right side of the tree, not on Vanner's side, then I'm going to try to put one, right through the brain or low in the chest at a minimum. And I'm talking to myself, and I felt like I had time to talk to myself. So it was literally slowed down. So even the bolt, me closing the action on the bolt, I knew when the handle closed, I was going to be point blank. And again, I was wishing for my double, my 450 or my 500.
Well, I
just knew.
I will give you this. You were racking at 416 plenty damn fast.
It was. I think you told me it was 1.5 seconds, and I think And I feel like I performed like I had performed when I was doing some of the safari schools and whatnot, pretty fast. And
Yep.
I just knew the kaleidoscope was going, and I knew you shall not pass. Do not let him get past to get to Dominic and Henko and Vanner. But I got to tell you something right there.
And then Buffalo, unfortunately, was going to use it. I shall pass.
I shall pass.
I shall pass, and Dominic is in my sights.
I don't care how big. I don't care, 2,500 feet a second. I don't care about 10,000 foot-pounds. I could care less about that. It meant nothing to him.
Julius? Julius?
He was destroyed. The second shot, Dave, you see the picture, the bullet's dead center through the heart. The second shot, I swung it was like shooting geese, man, just followed, bang. And I'm talking to myself through the whole thing. The heart's destroyed. The blood was literally tremendous, out it literally covered us. But I got to tell you something about my pH. My pH, because I jumped into the kneeling position, and I'm talking to myself saying, okay, he's coming. Now it's going to be me and him. I actually cut the angle off for Vanner. Vanner did not have a solid shot. He had to go in front of Henko, the cameraman, who's right next to me, and the buffalo was not going to come on his side, which was easier for him to come around the right side of that camel thorn. But he came around the left side, and he shot, and literally was 2 inches away from his brain, almost brained him right there with the 470.
So right now, this bull is wearing, once he ran over Dom, he's wearing 416 rounds from you and 2 470 rounds. Is that the right bullet count?
That is, and 2 of those were weld cores and 2 were solids, which I'll never use. For me, as a traveling Bowana, I will never use solids again. I will stick with monolithics, and today's premium bullets are so good that they penetrate so well. There's no reason, even on a going away shot. I mean, I'm just sticking with, because if I would have had a soft instead of that solid, I think I would have done a lot more damage on my shot, and I think that could have stopped them.
Well, there's a lot to that. I mean, I talked to our guys at Hornady about that. The bullet designs and the performance on the premium soft points today are so much better than when the guys were in the 40s and 50s and 60s and saying, no, you've got to use solids. Part of that reasoning was because of the soft points of the day just didn't have the penetration that you and I are fortunate to have up our spouts. They just didn't have that. So solid was probably the right choice for a lot of situations. But I still carry some solids, but I'm like you. Certainly my first on a bolt gun, my first 2 are going to be a good soft point, and then I follow with solids. But look, Julius, that is one of the greatest charge sequences, and I'm telling you, hats off to your cameraman, because he did stand there. I mean, he's going to hit any and everybody that he can. Now, they'll usually pick a initial target, and obviously that was you, but you did the drop and roll that was, by the way, pretty damn athletic and well advised that you did that, or you would have. I mean, that would have been like being hit by a garbage truck. I mean, he would have well and center punched you.
And people didn't know this, but the buffalo, as he passed me, he stepped literally on my buttocks. I mean, just literally nailed me in the butt, and big old black and blue. But the crazy thing was, what Henko is an example of the cameraman never dies. And you guys have Safari Classics, Andy and the team. I mean, you guys have some of the best in the business. 25-year veteran. He's been on 400 adventures. He's in the field 200 days a year. He's seen more than a lot of PHs all over Africa. And what he said to himself was, and I think this is an interesting back note, he said when he saw this third shot and he saw the buffalo's leg go under on the third shot, when I hit him with the solid, which, by the way, that solid exited. It hit the shoulder, broke it, exited out the back hip. He said at that point he had to drop the camera because he wanted to keep his eye on the Maharaji. And then he said he just turned slowly. And what he said to himself, I'll never forget, he said, I'm invisible. I'm invisible. I'm invisible. And he was. He stayed invisible.
Yeah.
The camera was.
Well, let me assure you, a cameraman can be the one that gets thrown in the air, or thrown under the bus. There, I mean, they don't know. Generally, the good thing about the cameraman, you're generally got guys in front of you. But you know,
Right,
you look at so did Dom. Dom had guys in front of him, and he's the one that got it the hardest down. I know there was some broken bones in there. What, he broke his shoulder and his collarbone?
He broke his clavicle, and it was pretty severely, broken. So it had to take a flight. He had to get it operated on, but it was only the clavicle. His back and everything else remained intact. And again, it's another important part to have travel insurance, because us having our ability to get him to a hospital, and it was during COVID, so it was a nightmare. We couldn't go in with him.
Yeah.
We had to leave him there at the front, and and then the insurance he was able to get him back and get him to get his surgery done. And
now over the next time we're in the mood to kill a couple of beers, you got to remind me to tell you a story about where I had my collarbone, my shoulder, and my right thumb all broken immediately by a dead bull elk. It's a hell of a story. It's for another time, but
yeah,
by a dead bull elk. Okay, so
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to throw in something too. I think this is an important side note to this thing, because this really is violent reality TV. And what happened? Joe Tam is our tracker. Joe Tam has courage like none other. These trackers in general, not only are they brilliant at what they do, but they have courage. They have no gun. And they sit there and they see these things unfold. And Joe Tam went in, the buffalo was still dying. He went 19 yards, fell over dead. And and so Dominic we were to the side trying to protect Dominic when the bulls were trying to come back in. And Joe Tam left the cover of the tree that he was behind, went over, picked up Dominic. And Dominic said that when he woke up and he looked up, there was tears coming into Dominic's face from Joe Tam. Says, Mr. Dominic, we have to go. Picked him up under the armpit. You'll see it on the film. And pulled him to safety, went back and got his gun and brought that back. Now, the reason why I say that and the courage is this. 3 years almost to the day, his tracker was brutally killed by a Cape buffalo. He witnessed it. And the courage that took, he said it literally replayed in his mind. And he said it welled up in him, but he was still able to control that fear and go get my partner into safety. And I think that's a tribute to the trackers that we if it's not for the trackers that we're on these hunts, it would be nothing. Our hunts would mean nothing.
Well, let me tell you, Julius, first of all, always good get together and talk hunting with you. You've always got something exciting going, and when you called me about this, you said, brother, I'm going to send you some footage that you're just not going to believe. And I tell you, it is truly one of the most dynamic charges that'll ever be filmed, ever has, probably ever will be filmed in Africa. And thank God, you and the rest of the team came out of it virtually unscathed. And when I say that, when your last shot is a buffalo where your barrel is 2 inches from its face, that the worst happened to the guy at the end of the line was a broken collarbone and all that, you came out of this damn lucky. I mean, you really did. Yeah. And it was lucky and some good solid shooting tilting the odds in your favor, but that whole thing could have went a lot worse. I'm not telling you anything. It could have went a lot worse than it did. So I'm glad you came out of it in one piece. I'm glad you've got a buffalo to tell a story about for the rest of your life, and that story will never get old. And I appreciate you coming on with us and sharing it today.
Yeah, and I'll end with one last thought. Safari Classics has more of these charges and more of this, what I consider to be visual education for other hunters going to Africa. There's no better visual training for your brain than what you guys show. And now this weekly series is going to be nonstop. So you're actually helping others train to be successful in that 1 in 100 or that 1 in 150 that actually do charge. I believe that what you guys, your products are able to help hunters if you look at it and not try to critique every little thing, and because I hate that quarterbacking thing. Really, that's terrible. But learn from these videos what you would have done if you were in that position, what you could have done better, what firearm would have been better. You guys are the best at that, and I'm proud to be part of your episode.
Well, brother, coming from you, that's a compliment. It's a charge we take really seriously. The biggest compliments we get, we go to the SCI show and somebody says, listen, there's two things they'll say. A, my family and I just went on my first safari last year. I'd have never done that without watching Tracks or Dark and Dangerous or, some of the video series. And we're going to add, this program. I mean, our new podcast, Safari Classics TV, is just what you said. We're going to use it to entertain, certainly, but there's always lessons to be learned from the kind of entertainment that we do. And
Dave, again, very, very honored to be here. Thanks, Christy, for all the work she does behind the scenes.
She's over doing all the magic. Brother, I'm looking forward to being on the Double Rifle Society podcast with you. I'm sure we can cook up something interesting to talk about there.
I know we can.
All right,
Thank you,
brother.
my friend.
Appreciate
Cheers.
you, boss.